All right, algebra classes, welcome to day 2 of our new material. We're going to be talking about measures of central tendency today. So these are values, as you can see, that attempt to describe a set of data by identifying the central position within a set of data values. Now we've got 3 that we're going to be learning that you're going to be using, the mean, the median, and the mode. You might already know what some of these are, but just like yesterday, if you didn't print out the notes, hopefully you got a sheet of paper, going to write some of these things down because you will be calculating means, medians, and modes in other math classes and expected to know how to do all this stuff. So let's get to it. The mean, that is where you add up all the data values and then you divide by however many data values that you have. So if you had the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, the sum of that would be 10. You would divide that by how many there are, which is 4, to get a mean of 2.5, something like that. So you add them all up, divide by the total that they are. We use the mean, or maybe I shouldn't say it that way. The mean gives a good measure of the center when there are no outliers. The median is the middle value when you arrange them in numerical order from smallest to biggest, biggest, smallest, doesn't matter, but it's the one right in the middle. The median gives you a good measure if there are numbers that are very, very far on either end. Those are going to be our outliers. We'll talk about that in a moment. And finally, our mode. That's the easiest one because you don't have to calculate this one. That one you just kind of more so use your eyes for. You got to see which value that occurs the most often. There doesn't have to be a mode. Sometimes there's multiple modes, but that one, no calculating, just simply looking which value occurs the most. So outliers, as I was talking about, those are values that are a lot bigger, a lot smaller than the other. So if we think back to my first data set for the mean, 1, 2, 3, and 4. If I had another set that was 1, 2, 3, 4, and 100, 100 is a very, very large number when compared to the other 4, and that would make our mean really, really big compared to the 5 values that we have. That's an outlier, something that's pretty far away from the other numbers. We're going to take a look at our first example on how to calculate these things. It is going to be in your best interest to, when I say pause, to pause and try it out. You might already do so right now, but I got one thing that I want to say, and it's written on this page, so let's go through the example and get started. So below are points scored by a basketball team during their first month of the season. Find the measures of central tendency of the scores, round to the nearest tenth if necessary. So the hint is what I want to start with before asking you to do this before you look at the answers. Put the numbers in order. So you're going to go through this number list right here and you're going to figure out smallest to biggest. And if you remember from my video yesterday, I like crossing things out. So it looks like 37 is the smallest, then 39. So I actually got them typed up here. There is our list from smallest 37 all the way up to our biggest 55. And now that the numbers are in order, here's what I'd like for you to try. Try to calculate the mean, try to find the median, try to find the mode. The range we'll talk about in a moment. So I want you to try to find the mean, median, and mode. So pause here for a moment, see what you can do, come back when you're ready, and I'm going to talk you through the rest. All right, hopefully you've tried this. So if you're going to calculate the mean, you would add up all of these numbers. So when you do that, we get 492. Now there are 11 total data values. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, which is why we're dividing by 11. 492 divided by 11, we're going to round that to 44.73. I guess in the directions I said 10, so maybe we should do 44.7, but 44.7 is our mean. The median we're going to find by looking for the number in the center of the data values in our organized list. So let's get rid of that other stuff. Counting in from the outsides, I've got these groups circled. You'll notice 5 at the start, 5 at the end, and this number right here, right in the center, 43, that is the middle data value. That is going to be our median. Finally, when looking for the mode, we don't have to calculate anything. We're more so looking for what value we see the most. And when they're written in order like this, it's actually not too bad to see. Hopefully you saw 49 was there the most. That is our mode. Now for range. So you're going to want to definitely write this down. It's going to pop up in a second. You'll see it on the slides if you print them out. The range is the distance from the minimum to the maximum or maximum to the minimum. It's how far the data is spread. So how do you calculate the range? You take your maximum and you subtract your minimum. So we're going to take 55. We're going to subtract 37, and that's going to give us our range of 18. Sorry. That measures, again, how far they're spread. Range is not a measure of central tendency. It just tells you how kind of long, I guess, the data set is. So another problem here, so write down these numbers, or if you got the notes, take a look at these numbers and make sure you can figure out where our solutions come from. We have a list of gas prices from local gas stations. We're going to find the measures of central tendency. If you take a look at this data set, they're already in order from smallest to largest, so take a pause here. Calculate your mean, calculate your median, find your mode, find your range. So pause, please, and come back when you're all done. So for your mean, again, we're going to add up all these values. We're going to divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to divide by 8 after we add them. So we got 1584. We're going to divide that by 8, and we get $1.98. Now, here's the thing about the median. You look at our data set, it doesn't have a number right down the middle. We have 2 numbers in the middle. So when you are calculating a median, which doesn't have, I guess, an odd number of data values as an even number, you're actually going to need to find those 2 values that are in the middle, and you're going to have to find their mean, aka their average. So you're going to take those 2 values, you're going to add them together, divide by 2, because there are 2 of them, and that's going to give you our median. So even though we don't have a number directly in the middle, we can still calculate a median by taking the average of the 2 middle numbers. Finally, looking for the mode, it looks like 199. There are 3 of those. So 199 is our mode and our range. We're going to take our max, 209, our min, 189, subtract them to get our range of 20 cents. So those are our measures of central tendency. You'll notice that the mean, median, and mode, sorry about that, very close together because these values are actually quite close to each other. All right, moving on. This last one, a little bit more prevalent to what's going on in the world. So some data from a couple weeks ago, some confirmed cases of COVID-19 in different states. And they're a lot bigger now, unfortunately, but we're going to take a look at some data from a couple weeks ago. In Illinois, there were 32, 12 in Indiana, 8 in Wisconsin, 16 in Iowa, 1 in Missouri, and in Washington, 457. So pause for a second, use our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of data, find our mean, median, and mode. Pause here, come back when you're ready, and we'll talk through our answers. All right, our mean. We're going to take all these 6, we're going to add them together. We're going to divide by 6. 526 divided by 6 is 87.67, approximately. Our median, when we've arranged them from smallest to largest, 1, 8, 12, 16, 32, 457, you'll notice that there's an even number of data points, so we're going to have to find the middle of our two middle values. Looks like our two numbers in the middle are 12 and 16. We're going to add those together. We're going to divide by 2 to get 14 for our median. Finally, for our mode, there is no value in this table, in this data set, that is repeated more than once. So we're not going to say that every number is the mode. We're going to say that we have no value for the mode. Our range, our max, 457. Our min, 1. They're 456 apart, 457 minus 1. Now, taking a look at our mean and our median, since we don't have a mode, which one gives us a better idea of the measure of the middle? Well, if you look at our data values, it looks like we got 1, 8, 12, 16, and 32. Those are all kind of relatively close to each other, whereas 457 is very different than those other 5. And that 457, that number significantly impacted the mean down here at 87.67. That 87 number, that doesn't really give you a good idea of what this data set looks like. 87 is far away from the 457. It's far away from even 32. Whereas if you look at our median of 14, that kind of gives you a better idea of what numbers we're dealing with. 1, 8, 12, 16, 32, those are all relatively close to 14. So this 457, that is an outlier. It's a lot bigger than the others, and it's going to kind of impact our measures of central tendency, making some make a little bit more sense than the others. So that's me going through this what does this all mean thing. Our big range tells us that our data is very spread out. There's an outlier of 457. Our mean isn't very reliable. As I said, it kind of doesn't really give us an idea of where our numbers are that we're looking at. The median being a little bit more accurate because it kind of represents that big chunk of numbers that are close to each other. And that is it for the day. Sorry about that. Moving on to the next slide. 12.4 is tomorrow. You have another Google form to fill out for me. Please do so. If you have any questions, you can link them there, and I will be getting back to you on that. So thank you for joining me today, and have a good rest of your day or with whatever work you have left, and I will talk to you tomorrow.